welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time stopping by. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button so that way you can be a part of the beauty club. But y'all, so in this video, I wanted to kind of tell y'all about my new salon job. You already saw the title, so you know what it's about. But yeah, so I just didn't tell anybody, right away. Not that I've been there like super long, but whatever. And so pretty much, I'm about to try these out for the first time. But anyway, that don't even matter. But yeah, so pretty much my last job I didn't tell you guys about. It was a place where you dictated calls for hard of hearing people. So basically they had a phone where, like, it was a home phone. So they had a phone where words showed up as the person was speaking, so that way they can read and keep up with the conversation. So not everybody was deaf, but some people were just more of hard of hearing than anything. I don't really think I had many deaf people, but anyway, so I was listening to their conversation. So I was listening to who they were talking to and repeating everything they said. So that way it showed up on their phone. So that was my last job. Was only there for a hot minute. That was one of those, in between type of things or whatever. And so, don't want to go into that job too much because that ain't what this one is about. But at the same time, it was just kind of like, it was cool and all. It was a super easy job, very boring. If you ain't got enough rest, it's going to be hard for you because you're going to be dozing off because it's boring. Like, literally, you're not talking on the phone or anything like that. You're just listening to what people are saying. And sometimes those conversations can be like an hour long or whatever the case. And it's just like, people just be talking about whatever, stupid stuff. So, or just regular stuff. They're just checking up on their people. So that was my last job or whatever. Boom. So then, of course I wasn't about to get comfortable there. Like, I wasn't just about to be like, oh, okay, well, at least I got a job. I'm like, no, that's not what I came here for. Like, literally. So, oh shoot, I got cereal. Okay. So, yeah, so I was just like, you know what, let me just keep applying to places and whatever, and, see what's going on with some other places. And so, at one point I saw this kids salon was hiring. Like, they mainly service kids, and it's mainly little boys haircuts. They do little girls, like I saw them doing like trims and little stuff like that. They still do, little girls, and they also do the parents sometimes too, but they mainly do little boys haircuts. So, I had in like a demo with them. So you have to show, that you know what you're doing for that job, which makes sense. So I went in or whatever, and I am not like the best with like clippers or whatever. So, I went in and to where I was like actually surprised that I did as well as I did. You know what I mean? Because I know how to not mess up somebody's hair, but at the same time, I'm not like a professional. Like, I don't, that's not my specialty. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't really cover that too much in hair school with the clippers, or just like, for example, we didn't cover that much with makeup or with waxing. It was just mainly hair with the focus in school. So, and I didn't have many clientele that wanted haircuts. Don't get me wrong, I could have, made sure I practiced more, found a model. I actually had my cousin who had a short haircut at the time. Well, she still do, but she has a short haircut or whatever. So I had practiced on her, but it was just like, I could have done more with it. So that was on me, even though we didn't cover that in school. I could have still done more with it. I just didn't. So with that being said, by the time I got here and whatever, and I went there and I did the little boy. Now, mind y'all, hold on. Let me take these. They taste like regular Apple Jacks. Anyway, it's supposed to be the caramel ones, but yeah. So the little boy, so at the salon they had like, the one side with all of like the cute little chairs. So one was like a plane, one was a car, one was a this or that, And so, he wanted to sit in the one with the plane. So I'm like, all right, sweet, whatever. So I didn't know that inside of the plane was like little pedals. You know how like kids' bikes, or I mean any bike with pedals where you can like, you know, move with your feet. That was inside of the plane, and he went to town on that stuff, and I'm just sitting here looking like, okay, that's not bothering me. The sound is not bothering me. Don't get me wrong. And then they could have at least oiled the things. Like, it was making so much noise. Like, it was just like this. You could tell it was just an old seat that just needed to be, they needed a new one, or they needed to oil it, something. But it was just making so much noise. And the fact that he was trying to do it real fast. So again, that didn't bother me. What bothered me was just because he kept moving. You know, he's moving his feet, and he's like, it was probably like 4. You know, he just kept moving. So eventually, you know, we kind of like talked him through it, like, hey, blah, blah, blah. So I was just talking to him a little bit, you know, like, hey, you know, if you want your hair to look really, really good, I'm gonna need you to sit still for this second, and then I'll be like, you know, you can pedal. I'll let you know when you can pedal, or something like that. And so, you know, he was acting right after that, and boom, we continued on with it. So then the manager, she was behind me. She had clients, and so, well, she had a client, and so when I got done, she like came over and she like briefly looked, because like I said, she was just in the middle of her own, so she kind of like looked, and then she like went back or whatever. And so the lady who was the receptionist, she came over, and she was like, you know, we'll let you know. Well, no, she said I'll call you when we leave. Basically, you know, when they got off work, she was like, I'll call you, whatever. And so she didn't text or call me, and I knew they had left at like 5 or 6. It was like somewhere around that time. So around like 6-ish, where I'm like, okay, they should be off. And then I'm like, all right, about 7 maybe when she gets home, maybe they talked about it a little bit more or whatever, because I had her personal number. This wasn't the manager, this was the receptionist. So around 7 o'clock, I ain't hear back from her. And I was going on a party bus that night, so I kind of low-key forgot about it. Like, because by the time I got home and whatever, I started getting ready. Like, I wasn't even really thinking about that no more. And so, so I'm on a party bus, and I get this text from her saying, you know, they really love my personality, whoop-de-whoop, but, you know, the manager just wanted somebody with more clipper work, even though they are looking, like, urgently looking for someone to start, you know, ASAP, that, you know, that they needed somebody with more clipper work or whatever. So I had text back, you know, but before that, I was waiting on a client. It was I had got there like 2. Somebody didn't show up. So now I'm waiting until 2:30 for the next person to show up. So that was the little boy I had. So in that time, I was talking to the manager, and you know, whatever. And I don't need to lie about this, because you're going to figure out like right away whether I know it like well or know it a little bit. So I was just looking like, I don't need to lie about this. And so, you know, so I was talking to her. I was just like, you know, I don't really have that many clients with, you know, where I need to use clippers or whatever the case. And so she was telling me how she first started, and, you know, she didn't know how to do this haircut. She didn't know how to do that. And she was just like, you know, her words were, you know, she faked it till she made it. And so I'm just like, okay, yeah. I was just like, yeah, like sometimes that's what you have to do. Like literally that's what you got to do sometimes. And then you kind of like start picking up on different stuff. And then if someone you're working with is helpful enough, they'll kind of give you some tips and whatever the case. And because eventually at some point you may be able to help them. It just goes hand in hand. That's how salons and barbershops are. Like you may know something, whatever, that's how it works. And so, so yeah, she's like, you fake it. I fake it till you make it. So we like laughing about that, kikiing. And then I get a message at 11 that night, y'all. I completely have forgot. At 11 at night, talking about the whole clipper work, and, you know, they love my personality. I got that text. So then I had wrote back and was just like, you know, I was asking her to like reconsider, and you know what I mean? Because my speaker just turned off. So I was asking her to reconsider. Like, I was really like, low-key, it sounded like I was low-key begging for this job. You feel me? And so that's why I was just looking like, you know, and I was telling her, you know, I know what I can do if I'm just given the opportunity to, you know, practice more. I even told her, y'all, I said, I can even come in for a week and practice. You know what I mean? Like in the salon, how far I gotta sneeze. In the salon, I was like, I said, you know, I'll work for a week, whatever the case. And so she was like, okay, I'll ask her, I'll see what she says. And I never heard back from her. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Not that I expected her to really get back to me and be like, hey, you know, she said this. I didn't really expect much, but at the same time, it was worth a shot. Whatever. So, stayed where I was at. Stayed at the job I was. And I'm glad I'm not the only one that feels this way, but some of their supervisors let their title get to their head a little bit. And I've never been that type. I don't like that. Like, you know what I mean? I don't even want to get into all that because, y'all, I hate when people like say stuff to me and like you not even sure about what you're talking about. So I'm saying all that to say, I stayed there and they started to, you know, I started noticing like little stuff and like other supervisors were trying to say stuff to me and stuff like that or whatever. And I was just, you know, playing it cool, just riding it out because I'm just looking like I'm not about to be staying here that much longer. Anyway, this was really one of them in-between type things. Like the first job I had if y'all watched my new job, I think it's new job alert or whatever, however I worded it, that was one of them like you just picking up on something just to have some income, basically. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just like something to do. And so this was one of those type of things. Don't get me wrong. You are helping the community. You're helping people who can't really hear that well. So it's a great job as far as like helping people. But being inside of the facility, it was different. It was different or whatever. So yeah, so I don't want to complain too much. Like I hated going to work. I didn't hate going to work, but it was one of those, who about to say something to me next about something stupid? It was really one of those type of things. And so, boom, so that was that. So then I kept applying because I'm like, I came out here to do hair. And I'm just like, I came out here to do hair. Though, you know, I post on Instagram and I do this and I'm getting more clients. I'm using hashtags and people are DMing me more, which is awesome, you know, whatever. But I was just like, I still want to do more with it. So I was like, I was still looking at, you know, salons and stuff. And so I was still like looking on Indeed and I saw, you know, some like receptionist type of things. Like I just kind of wanted to get in there. And then I saw some people were hiring for stylists. So it was a little bit of both. Again, I don't mind doing either one, you know. So yeah, so I saw this one salon was looking for a stylist and I saw it was a blowout bar. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically, where they only do blow dries. So it's no cutting, no color, no braids. Well, not braids as far as like knotless braids or nothing like that. Like you can do little cute little two little braids or braid here. You know, you can do a little cute little something, but not like a full like head of braids. Like it's not like that. Or they don't do extensions. Like it's literally just, they come in, you wash them, you blow dry their hair. And the whole thing about that salon is like a round brush. Like that's their thing, is the round brush. So, so yeah, so they called me back and, she was like, you know, when can you come in, whatever the case. So I told her when I could come in. I came in and she was asking me to do basically like curls with the round brush. Now, mind y'all, this is something else I'm not used to doing, but at the same time, I'm like, I need to, for one, step out of my comfort zone, and two, try something different. I'm not going to be able to expect different results if I keep doing the same thing. So, and I want to get familiar with different type of, you know, hair textures and stuff. So, yeah, so I was just like, okay. So I came in and they gave me the client, head full of hair. She had a head full of hair. And when I say full of hair, I mean, it was thick and long. So I'm just sitting here looking like I'm already not familiar with the round brush because they said I had to do curls with the round brush. I could not do it with a hot tool. Like I couldn't turn on no hot tools. So I'm just sitting here looking like, in my head, I'm like, okay. But I'm just looking like, I know how not to mess it up. I'm one of those, like, I know how not to mess it up, but I still don't know exactly how to do it. Like, I know how to not get this hair tangled in this brush, but how exactly do I get this curl? Cause like all I know is like the little, you know, flip over the ends, just like, you know, but as far as rolling it all up and like really getting that hair in there, like that, I was not doing that. So basically I was in there and I was, you know, I don't want to say straightening her hair, but I was drying her hair with the round brush, but it was not getting that curl. So it just had the little cute little bump at the ends, right? So I'm sitting here stressing, cause I'm just sitting here like, I'm trying to keep myself calm. I'm trying to make sure my body language ain't weird. You know, I'm trying to make sure like, you know, I'm keeping myself like calm and talking myself through this in my head, y'all. So I'm just like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, when I talk to myself, I say my name in my head. I'm like, Miranda, you just gotta finish it. We not sure what it's looking like right now, but we not getting no curls, but we gonna have to just finish the job. We're going to finish the job and we're going to have to take it like a G, basically, and just like take this L. So the receptionist girl, she came over and she was just like, hey, I told you it was round brush with the curls, right? And so I was like, yeah. And so she's like, okay, I just wanted to make sure. I want to make sure. She's so sweet. I just wanted to make sure. So I'm thinking to myself, like, she know, like, she see I'm not doing these curls. Like, that's basically letting me know, like, hey, you're not doing what I just asked you to do. I'm like, immediate fail. Like, I'm no, for sure not to get this job. And so, the client, she said, I forgot, she said something to me. I forgot, we talked briefly, like for a hot second. And so I was telling her, I was just like, you know, I'm not very like familiar with the round brush and stuff like that. I was like, you know, but I hope they, you know, still give me a chance, because I was like, I really want this job. Like I wanted this one more than I wanted the one at the kids salon or whatever. And so she was like, yeah, you just really gotta get in there. Of course she couldn't walk me through it, but she was like, yeah, you just really have to get in there. Yeah, I wasn't getting in there. So she ended up leaving. Like I said, it was not no curls at all. Like it basically looked like as if you like kind of just flat ironed your hair a little bit, and you know, you had that little like, remind you, her hair was down here, like it was long. And just kind of, you know, because I did use a round brush, or her hair was dry from it, so it still had a little, you know, a little swoop, but it wasn't, yeah, I wasn't getting no curls. So I left out of there feeling so discouraged, y'all. Like, I was like so like beating myself up. I beat myself up like way too much over stuff. But I was really beating myself up. And so I was just like, I'm like, I didn't get that job. I was like, I did not get that job. I said I felt more confident leaving out of that kid salon with that haircut than I did with this round brush. I'm like, this ain't working. So yeah, so by the time I had got home, you know, I was really like looking up videos, trying to see like exactly like what I did wrong, because I was looking at videos before I went there, you know what I mean? And I know YouTube is one of those things where you just kind of got to do it. You got to practice and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. I should have practiced with my mannequin, but I did not, because I'm like, I don't know. It was just like one of those, how hard can it be? But I wasn't doing what I saw on the video. Don't ask me why, I just didn't. So like I was looking at more videos and stuff, and maybe because I was fearing like getting her hair tangled up in it, because I wasn't like a professional with it. So yeah, so I'm looking at more videos when I got home, and I'm just sitting here looking like trying to figure out exactly what I could have done, or what I did, like just what I did wrong. And so yeah, so I'm just like, whatever, man. So I went to sleep. I don't even think I slept well that night, because I was just really thinking about that way too much. So then I got, surprisingly, she texted me maybe the next day or the day after that. It was like soon after. I was out door dashing. And I remember it. Like, I was door dashing. I was in McDonald's waiting for people's food, whatever. And I had a text message from, you know, a 702 number. That's the area code out here. And so I'm looking like, she was just like, hey, thanks for stopping in. Would you be able to come in for more questions? Because the little banner popped up at the top of my phone. So I'm like, I know this ain't who I think this is. I'm looking like, I didn't get that job. Y'all, I had definitely told myself I didn't get that job. Like, so I was like, I'm like, I know this ain't who I think this is. I know this ain't them. And so when I clicked on it and I looked at the whole thread, it was her, because I didn't erase it. It was her, like, because it showed the messages when we, like, scheduled for me to come in. I'm like, more questions. So I'm looking like, what she want to ask me? Like, I'm still in my head, like, making myself not be hired for this job. So I'm looking like, what she want to ask me? Like, I'm like, what she want to ask me? So I come in, I went in that next day, and I finally met the manager. And so so she was asking me like regular type of, you know, questions, like not like them serious, like too crazy interview questions, but because she was so chill, she's so sweet. She was asking me, you know, like, you know, about a time like a client wasn't happy, or, you know, a time, you know, little stuff like that, just stuff related to the job. And so, not my cereal getting soggy. I'm mad that I even, this don't taste like no caramel. Anyway, so she was asking me that type of stuff. So I'm looking like, okay, this is an interview. Because again, the text message didn't say an interview. It just said, can you come in for some questions? So that's why I'm looking like, what she want to ask me? I'm looking that you can't text me or call me. So, so I came in, whatever. So I was talking to her. Now that was my first time meeting the manager. And so, she started asking me, like, you know, about availability and stuff. And I'm just like, thinking in my head, like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, all right. And so then she was like, well, obviously you're hired, blah, blah, blah. And yo, whatever she said after you're hired, I don't even know. I can't even tell you what she said. Cause in my head, I'm like, what? I'm like, hired. I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, I was so happy. I was so shocked. And when she said it, I remember saying, okay, or like shaking my head or something, but I was just like, hold on. I'm like, all right, let me just move on. Let me just, you know, accept that she just said that. And then, like I said, we just started talking a little bit more, and then, you know, we really got into it more as far as like the days and hours I'm available and stuff like that. And so, I was like, y'all, I walked about it there still like, huh? Like, hired, like me? The person who couldn't do curls with the round brush that you just asked me to do? Like, this is the main style that you guys do here. And, not main, because every single hairstyle I do isn't curls with the round brush. But that's like a big service, because everybody and their mama can, well, not everybody, but a lot of people can, you know, use a flat iron and curl with a flat iron, but who can really get that round brush look, that blowout look with just the round brush, not using no type of flat iron at all. So I'm just like, all right. So I left. I told my immediate people who who check on me and stuff like that, and I let them know how I'm doing while I'm out here. So I let them know. And yeah, so that was that. So then she was like, you know, they're gonna contact you about orientation and stuff like that. Just before I left out, she was like, they're gonna email you about orientation and stuff. So I'm like, all right, sweet. So they had emailed me like that next like Tuesday or something like that. That was like a Saturday. I had talked to her. They had emailed me like that Tuesday about orientation, and then I went to orientation the day after Easter. And yeah, so then when I got in there or whatever, of course, because I'm still so new to this, you know, like I have gotten faster, of course, even though I haven't even been there that long. But it was just like I'm you know, you just get better and faster. And so yeah, and so I was just like, this is like crazy. Like, I'm really like working here. Like, the place where I was just like, I just knew for a fact that I wasn't about to get hired in that job. And so, by the grace of God, I did. So of course I thank God. That was without a doubt. So, yeah, so one of the, the only, what you call herself, lead stylist or either lead stylist or head stylist or whatever the case. She was just like, you know, I want to see how you're doing and stuff like that. So she was like, you know, this one particular day, like, me, her, and another girl like was completely open. Like our books was completely open for like hours, like 3 hours. It was like a lot of time. And so the one girl whose hair I did, she had a client at the time, so we just waited till she got done, and then I, started doing her hair or whatever. So she was really, the hairstylist, she was really like showing me, like, she was like, act like I'm not here. Like, she was just so helpful, you know what I mean? Like, so helpful. And I didn't ask her to like do that or whatever, but hey. So she was just like, let me see. She was like, pretend I'm not here. So, I watched her. And then when we got back to the chair, I started whatever. And I was starting in the back because I'm so used to doing hair starting in the back. And so she was just like, starting the front because, their hair is wet and it's hanging in their face just so they're not comfortable. That way they can see the curls that you're doing to see if they want them tighter or looser. And that way also, so that way if that's your first time doing their hair, they're more comfortable with you and they don't have to question what you're doing in the back versus if you're in the back and then they don't know what you're doing and then you could waste a bunch of time. So she was like, start in the front, whoop-de-whoop. So, I started in the front, she was showing me. And so I was really getting it. And y'all, her hair came out so good. Like, cause afterwards, you have to do the pin curls and stuff, which I didn't even really think about doing. But, she was like, once you do that, wrap it up and, put the pin curl in it and put the clip in it and like, let it sit as you're finishing the rest of the head. So I'm like, okay. And so her hair came out beautiful. Like, absolutely beautiful. Like, I don't know how many times I thanked her. Like, I don't know how many times. Like, I swear to God, because it was just like I was so like appreciative of her. Like, you know what I mean? Because it was just like she really sat with me majority of the time. And then towards the end, she ended up having a client, but she checked on me, in between time. And so she was like, I have a client. Because our stations was like back to back. So she was like, I'm right here. She was like, if you have any questions, just come over, and ask me. So I was like, all right, sweet. And so I ended up finishing her out or whatever. And so, she just showed me what she did, after she got done with the client who, had a blowout style and, what products she liked to use and stuff or whatever. And so, which was helpful to me again, because like, I don't use those products. So I don't know, what works best with what. And so she was just like, I like to use this and this together and I'll use this afterwards. Like, she was just so helpful, y'all, like so helpful. And so I was just like, okay. And so then, like I said, the girl's hair came out, like my coworker, I don't keep calling her the girl, but my coworker, her hair came out so beautiful. And I was just like, oh my goodness, like I really just did that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it only took that one time for that one person to really be like, do this instead of this, or, see how this works for you. And then, she wasn't just like, you have to do this, you have to do that. Like, she wasn't like that, It's still one of those salons where like, you can still kind of do it at your own flow. Everybody does it a little bit differently, but the end result is majority of the same. And so, she was just like, I am not eating a cereal. She was like, this is how I do it or whatever. And like I said, it's just, curls are just bouncing. Once I let the pin curl out, I'm just looking like, whoa, like you can do all this with just a round brush? Like, that saves so much time instead of trying to dry your hair and then go over it and curl the whole head. Like, you can literally curl and blow dry at the same time. I'm just like, that is so sweet to me, And so, so yeah, so after I did my coworker's hair, like, I didn't feel no type of like nervousness or like having any doubtful thoughts in my head after her. Like, that was it. Like, at this point, I don't care how long your hair is. Like, I don't care how long your hair is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know, because I know I can do it now. Like, I don't know. So that's my new job, y'all. That's my new job. Like I said, I really love it. Everybody's, sweet for the most part. You're gonna always have them people who you're gonna always have them people. But a lot of the people are like really, really sweet, like, really nice. And so, yeah, so that's pretty much what's going on with me now. I'm still, working from home. As far as like braids and stuff, like, so as of like right now, like today I was off from the salon, but I did braids this morning. tomorrow's Wednesday. No. Yeah, tomorrow's Wednesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm working in a salon super early in the morning. And then when I get off in the afternoon, I'm coming home to do braids. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I just kind of put that in between there. You know, some people may be like, oh, that's a lot of standing there, you're tired, or like, I really can't even think about being tired. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, I came here to do hair. Of course, I'm not gonna overwork myself, but at the same time, I'm not sitting here like, and can't do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just do it. I don't know, just do the job. Like, I don't know. So that's what I got going on as of right now. As y'all know, well, y'all don't know, but y'all do know that I got my TAM card. So that's basically like a card that you need to bartend here in Vegas. So I do have that, but I have not found like an actual like bartending job. I don't know. They just not calling your girl back. Or if they do, they don't select me. I don't know. I had even applied for Applebee's, and not nothing like that, but I had applied for Applebee's, and when she called me back, she was just like, she was telling me like, you know, on my resume, on my application, I said I wasn't available on Sundays, because I like to have Sundays and Mondays, like, to make sure, like, if I don't have a video for Monday, that I can do it Monday. I can do it Sunday, you know, like, that's why I always like to have Sundays and Mondays. So she was like, yeah, you have it that you're not available on Sundays. And she was like, you have to go back in and, you know, put that you're available on Sundays, or else I won't be able to interview you. So while we're on the phone, then that's when she tells me, she was like, oh, by the way, it's not for bartending. So I was like, you know, which one did I apply for? Did I apply for serving, or did I apply for bartending? She's like, you applied for bartending, but this is actually a server position. So I'm just sitting here looking like, what? Why do y'all even have that up there for bartending though? Like, you feel me? I'm just looking like, you know, I didn't apply for that, so why would you call me? You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. I was applying for, you know, serving jobs at other places, but at this particular place, you don't know that. You don't know if I have server, well, you don't know if I want to be a server. So, because on my resume, I do have server experience, so I'm not going to say I don't, but you don't know if I want to do that. Like, I applied to be a bartender. So I'm just looking like, whatever. Child, I ain't, So, yeah, and I'm not against, you know, serving at all, you know, but I still wanted to be like a little mix, basically how I was doing in Cleveland. Like, it was a little bit of serving, some tables, and then it was like, you know, bartending. You know, like, I don't mind a little bit of serving, but mainly bartending. I don't want to just mainly serve, you know. So yeah, y'all. So that's what I got going on. I did not expect this video to be that long. I be running my mouth sometimes, but yeah, so that's what is going on in my life right now, as far as like job and, you know, really like getting into my career and, you know, stuff like that. Like, it has not been that long, like I said, but I'm absolutely happy. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's really all I can ask for, is like to be happy with what I'm doing. Like, and I want that for anybody else. Like, who wants to be at a job where you just don't really care for it? Not that you hate it, but that you just don't really care for it. Like, life's too short for that. Like, especially if you have a talent. That's one thing. If you have a talent and you know for a fact that you want to do X, Y, Z, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying you can't have another job in between that time, but you just not going to apply for it? That's what I was thinking to myself. Like, you can't just be here working at some call center and not be trying to at least apply for a salon job. I'm like, I'm not about to do that. So that's what, you know, I really got into that. And then boom, here I am. The one job that I did not think I was going to get is where I work. Which is so crazy. It's still a little wild to me. But yeah, so this was video number 4. This is video number 4 for the celebrating 700 subscribers. So shout out to y'all again for that. I'm not gonna forget to say that. Shout out to y'all for that. But yeah, I want to wrap it up here. I don't want this like too crazy long, but because it wasn't even supposed to be this long, but whatever. But yeah. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. As my mother used to always say, it does not matter what you do in life, always be the best at it. And I will catch y'all on video 5, celebrated 700.